What is up, guys? Just figured today we'll talk about my favorite macros to use in Warlords of Draenor, and there's only 4 of them. Some of them are simpler than others, but I figured we'll just get straight into it. So a very easy and simple macro I have is cancel Bladestorm aura. This is brilliant to use with pummel, for example, which means I can, interrupt whenever I need to, even during Bladestorm. It does obviously cancel Bladestorm, but it's fantastic. And you can also use it with charge, which really useful in PvE especially. I highly recommend using this macro. The next macro I like to use is target focus exist Vigilance, and the reason I like this is because it makes a very powerful cooldown for a tank or a party member just that little bit more flexible. So say for example you have a tank cooldown rotation, you're part of it with Vigilance, you can set that tank as focus and then you just fire and forget, there's no need to worry about it. But the great thing about this macro is, say you don't have a focus target, it completely ignores that and it will then just cast on any party member you happen to have targeted. So it just makes it a little bit more flexible and it's very useful. Starting to get into the realms of slightly more complicated macros now. So this is a standard cooldown macro. You're looking at recklessness, use 13-14, which is your trinket slots, casting avatar and bloodbath, and anything else that you may have. Maybe you want to use your potion there, although usually you cast that before combat. But anyway, so the extra things I have is cast charge, because this is my, tank is pulled, we're going in. And then cast bloodthirst as well, which is brilliant, because what it tends to do is I spam my buttons. So, I press this 2 or 3 times, and instead of me having to start my rotation, it's only like a half a second maybe, after I've charged in, it just starts it for me straight away, and then I've got that GCD for me to be able to, move my hands and think about, right, what's the first button I'm pushing? Am I going to be pressing execute or, whatever has procced? So I like to have both charge and bloodthirst in there just for kind of getting me going really, and I don't think many people do it like this, so I figured I'd tell you that one. Lastly, we have my charge macro. Now, it will look at the target and it will decide what to do here. If it's an enemy, it would cast charge. If it's a friendly target, it will cast intervene. Very useful putting 2 abilities into one button, especially when they're so similar in nature. After that, it's going to look at your talents and it's going to see, right, okay, what can we do next? And depending on the order you have these in, this is how it's going to work. So say for example, I'm Fury, I've taken Siegebreaker, it's going to then cast Siegebreaker. So when you're in melee range and it can't use charge, it will use Siegebreaker. Say for example, I'm using arms, it will then try and cast rend. Now, the only issue here is, do I have Siegebreaker as arms? If I do, the rend isn't going to work. So you're going to have to change your priorities with this and see which one you prefer to happen. Now, if you happen to be not using either of them, say you're Fury and you've taken anger management, for example, it's not going to use Siegebreaker because you don't have it. It's not going to use rend because you don't have it. So I figured I'd put heroic throw in there. It's a little bit of extra damage and it's there if you need it. So this is my favorite macro really. It allows me to charge, intervene. It uses Siegebreaker, which is saving me a button. It uses rend when I'm arms, which again saves me a button. And if I haven't got any of them, it uses heroic throw, which is a bit of extra free damage that perhaps I wouldn't have used before. So yeah, thank you very much for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. If you've got any other cool macros, put them in description. If you think I can improve on any of these, let me know as well, because that'd be super cool, and I can let everyone else know. So thank you very much, guys. Take care.